Where do humans come from? Buddhism's shocking answer. Did you know that in your body, right at this moment, there are over 37 trillion cells emitting light? Scientists call this biophoton emission. And there's a reason why we still retain this ability. Because according to Buddhism, humans originally did not evolve from apes. We devolved from luminous beings who could fly, didn't need to eat, and lived on pure joy. This sounds crazy? NASA just discovered plasma-based life forms in space. The Quantum Biology Institute at Oxford is studying quantum consciousness. And Harvard Medical School has proven that meditation can change DNA. Perhaps. Modern science is gradually proving what the Buddha knew 2,500 years ago. Part 1. The universe has no beginning point. When Einstein developed the theory of relativity, he inadvertently proved something that the Buddha had taught 2,500 years earlier. Time is not linear. In Buddhism, there is no first Big Bang. The universe exists in endless cycles, expanding and contracting like the breath of a gigantic being. To illustrate the length of these cycles, the Buddha gave an amazing metaphor. Imagine a solid rock mountain as high and wide as a yajna, about 11 miles. If someone brushed it with a thin silk cloth once every 100 years, the time it would take to wear away that mountain would still be shorter than one kalpa. A kalpa, that's just a small unit of time in countless cosmic cycles. What's amazing is that what modern science is discovering about the multiverse, countless parallel universes, is exactly what Buddhism described in the Brahmajala Sutta. There are world systems beyond world systems, extending infinitely in all directions. Dr. Brian Greene, physicist at Columbia University, once said, "The possibility of countless parallel universes is no longer science fiction, but Buddhism has known this since ancient times. But if the universe has no beginning point, what did the first humans look like?" The answer will challenge everything you think about evolution, and may explain why humans have strange abilities that science still doesn't understand. Part 2. The first humans, not what you think. In the Aggañña Sutta, the Buddha describes the first beings in such detail that it makes modern scientists rethink the origin of humanity. At that time, beings were mind, made, nourished by joy, self-luminous, moving through the air. This isn't poetry or metaphor. The Buddha is describing a completely different form of life. These beings didn't need material food. They ate joy, piti in Pali. They had no gender, no clear physical boundaries, and most importantly, they were self-luminous like living stars. Sounds unbelievable? Consider this. Throughout 95% of the universe's history, light has been the dominant form of energy. Matter only makes up 5%. And even in the current human body, we still have bioluminescent cells. Dr. Fritz Albert Popp, physiologist in Germany, discovered that all living cells emit photons. He calls this biophoton emission. Perhaps the light beings in Buddhism aren't entirely mythical. But what happened next? According to the Aggañña Sutta, something called earthly essence appeared. It smelled fragrant like honey, sweet like sugar. The light beings, driven by curiosity, tasted it. This was the first food. And from then on, everything began to change in ways we could never imagine. When they ate material food, their natural light began to dim. Differences in appearance began to emerge. Some beings began to notice differences in their forms, and pride arose in their hearts, the Buddha said. This is when gender appeared. Initially, beings were androgynous, but as the physical body materialized, male and female characteristics became distinct. sexual reproduction began, a process that Buddhism says was created by karma. But the strange thing is, according to Buddhism, becoming current humans is actually devolution, and there's scientific evidence supporting this, hidden in our very cellular structure. Part 3. Why evolution is actually devolution. This may be the most controversial part, but let's consider the scientific evidence. According to Buddhism, the process from light beings to current humans is a decline, not progress. Losing the ability to self-luminesce means losing an infinite natural energy source. Instead, we have to depend on food, a limited and inefficient energy source. Think about this. Plants can photosynthesize, creating energy from light themselves. But humans, we have to kill other beings to survive. From an energy perspective, this is truly a step backward. Dr. Nick Lane at University College London has studied the energy crisis in evolution. He discovered that the transition from using light energy to chemical energy actually reduces the energy efficiency of life. But there's something even deeper. In physics, we have the concept of entropy, the tendency of all systems to go from order to chaos. What Buddhism describes about the decline from light beings to material humans completely aligns with the second law of thermodynamics. Scientists at MIT have discovered that in the evolutionary process, there are evolutionary dead ends, evolutionary branches that lead to unnecessary complexity and ultimately extinction. Perhaps current humans are walking on such a path. According to the Aggañña Sutta, when beings began eating material food, not only did their bodies change, but their minds also became coarser. This coarseness spread to their minds as ignorance, avijja, and craving, tanha, brought conflict into their interactions. This is when greed, hatred, and delusion appeared, the three poisons that cause all suffering in human life. Dr. Robert Sapolsky, neuroscientist at Stanford, has proven that stress and greed actually change brain structure negatively. Cortisol from chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus and enlarges the amygdala, he explains. In other words, the more greedy and anxious humans become, the less intelligent they become. But if humans were once stronger, why did we choose to become weaker? The answer lies in a concept that Harvard is studying and could completely change how we understand reality. Part 4. Karma, the real driving force of evolution. This is where Buddhism becomes revolutionary. While Darwin says environment shapes organisms, Buddhism says consciousness shapes reality. Karma isn't retribution, as many people think. In Pali, karma means intentional action. The Buddha taught, karma is intention. I say that intention itself is karma, for after forming an intention, one acts through body, speech, and mind. This means consciousness is not a product of the brain, but the force that shapes matter. Paticca Samuppada, dependent origination, explains how mind and body, nama rupa, arise interdependently. Sounds mystical, not really. Dr. Amit Goswami, quantum physicist at University of Oregon, has proposed consciousness-based reality. Consciousness is the fundamental basis of reality, not matter, he writes in The Self-Aware Universe. The famous double-slit experiment in quantum physics shows that observation can change the behavior of fundamental particles. If consciousness can influence subatomic particles, why can't it influence DNA? Dr. Bruce Lipton, cell biologist, has proven this through epigenetics. Genes don't control our lives, he says. It's the environment, and especially our perception of the environment, that controls genes. Studies on meditation at Harvard Medical School show that meditation can change gene expression in just 8 weeks. Dr. Sarah Lazar discovered that meditation not only changes brain activity, but also thickens the cerebral cortex. What does this mean? How we think can actually change the physical structure of the brain, and through that, affect the entire body. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha taught, "Mind is the forerunner of all phenomena, mind is supreme, mind is the creator." This isn't just philosophy, but maybe a physical law we don't fully understand yet. Dr. Deepak Chopra, doctor and researcher in quantum healing, explains, "Every thought creates a molecule, every emotion creates a hormone. Consciousness is constantly shaping physical reality. This means the future of humanity depends on how we think today." And there's a frightening prediction about what will happen next, recorded in the most ancient Buddhist texts. Part 5. The Future of Humanity According to Buddhism. What will happen to humanity in the future? Buddhism has a specific and amazing answer. According to the Aggañña Sutta, the universe operates in gigantic cycles. Currently, we are in the expansion phase. But there will come a time when the universe begins contraction. There will be a time when the world contracts. At that time, beings are mainly reborn in the Abhasara Brahma world, the world of radiant sound Brahma. This is a spiritual realm where beings exist as pure light. What's amazing is this completely aligns with the Big Crunch theory in modern physics. Dr. Paul Steinhardt at Princeton has proposed the cyclic universe model, where Big Bang and Big Crunch occur endlessly. But Buddhism goes further. It says that in the contraction phase, not only does matter disappear, but consciousness also evolves back to pure energy form. Humans will return to their original light-being state. Dr. Michio Kaku, theoretical physicist at City University of New York, has said, "Perhaps consciousness is a form of energy that can exist independently of the brain. If this is true, then the transition from physical body to light isn't impossible. But this is only half the story. After the universe contracts completely, it will expand again. There will be a time when the world expands, and beings from the Abhasara Brahma world appear in this world. The cycle repeats. Light beings return, find earthly essence, begin eating, lose their light, become matter, and the entire process starts again. This means what's happening to humanity now has happened countless times before, and will happen countless times in the future. But this isn't just about one universe. The Brahmajala Sutta describes countless world systems. There are worlds beyond worlds, extending infinitely in all directions. Dr. Max Tegmark at MIT has calculated that there may be infinite parallel universes with different versions of ourselves. The multiverse isn't just a possibility, but may be reality, he writes. If Buddhism is correct, then right now, there are countless versions of you experiencing different stages of this cycle. Some are in light form, some in material form, some in between. But there's a way to escape this cycle, and that's exactly why being born human is so important, and why you might be the luckiest person in countless universes. Part 6. Why you won the cosmic lottery. Now we return to the blind turtle in the endless ocean. The Buddha used this metaphor to illustrate how rare it is to be born human. The Chigala Sutta describes in detail. Imagine the entire earth covered by water. There's a blind turtle swimming in this ocean. Every 100 years, it surfaces once. On the water surface, There's a wooden yoke with a hole in the middle, floating with the wind. The chance for the blind turtle to stick its head through that hole is the chance of being born human. Dr. Ali Benazir, a mathematician, calculated the probability of a specific person being born. The result, 1 in 400 quadrillion, a number with 15 zeros. And that's just biological probability, not counting cosmic and consciousness factors. But why are humans so rare? According to Buddhism, among countless realms of existence, only the human realm has ideal conditions for enlightenment. Higher realms, like heavenly realms, are too blissful. Heavenly beings live in continuous happiness, having no motivation to seek truth. Like when you're on a perfect vacation, you don't think about life's deeper issues. Lower realms, like hell or hungry ghost realms, are too painful. These beings are so caught up in suffering they can't focus on cultivation. Like when you're seriously ill, you only think about recovery. Only the human realm has perfect balance, enough suffering to motivate seeking liberation, but enough happiness to have the ability to learn and cultivate. Dr. Rick Hanson, neuropsychologist, explains, humans have a unique ability to balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. This allows us to experience stress while also learning from it. Moreover, only in the human realm do we have the ability to understand and practice Dharma, the path to liberation. The Buddha taught, difficult it is to be born human, difficult it is to live a moral life. But being born human is just the first step. The real opportunity lies in using this life to escape the cycle of samsara, the wheel of birth and death. This is what scientists are beginning to understand. Dr. Eben Alexander, neurosurgeon at Harvard Medical School, after experiencing a near-death experience, wrote, consciousness exists independently of the brain, and there are levels of reality we don't yet understand. If consciousness can truly exist through multiple lifetimes, then using this current life to achieve liberation becomes life's most important goal. According to the Dhammapada, the Buddha taught, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. If a person speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows them. This means not only individual future, but humanity's future depends on the conscious choices we make today. Dr. Lynn McTaggart, scientist researching consciousness, has proven that group meditation can affect physical reality. When a group of people meditate together, crime rates in that area decrease significantly. She writes in The Intention Experiment. This means what you do with this life affects not only you, but the entire reality around you. The blind turtle in the endless ocean, surfacing once every 100 years. The chance of sticking its head through the floating ring is the chance you were born human. You won the cosmic lottery. You have what billions of other beings must wait lifetimes for, the opportunity to escape the endless cycle of birth and death. But the window is closing. Every day you don't cultivate is a day wasting this rare opportunity. The question isn't where you came from, but where will you go? If this video changes how you view life, please like and share so others can know this truth too. Subscribe to not miss other ancient secrets that modern science is gradually discovering. Comment and let me know. How do you feel knowing you were once a light being?